Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me today. I am still working on this book cover project. Again, for those of you who haven't been with me, here is the charcoal sketch, quote unquote, which is actually very far from a sketch. It's a very finished and refined charcoal drawing. This is the original, and that's of course, my go by. I printed that out on my computer and then taped it to the back of this paper. So here is because it wasn't exactly the size that I wanted, so I actually blew it up slightly larger. See, this is slightly bigger. Blew it up a little bit bigger, and this is what I traced, right? As you know, an illustrator always traces whenever he has the chance. It's a bit of a joke, and it's only funny because it's largely true. Only funny to fellow illustrators. So that's the thing that I'm really tracing is that right there, and I might be done tracing. I probably am. Once again, for those of you who are just joining me, I am drawing on Mylar. Okay, and again, because some of you are going to say, what brand, what is that, what are you drawing on? So hang on, let me grab the original pad of paper. So here it is. Denrio Multimedia Vellum. See that? That's what I'm drawing on. In the comments, please don't ask me what I'm drawing on. Oh, you wouldn't believe how many times I explain, what kind of pen I'm using, what kind of ink I'm using, what kind of paper. And then in the comments, I get all kinds of questions. What kind of pen are you using? What kind of ink are you using? All that tells me is that I know you didn't watch the video. So anyway, this is how far I've gotten. I've got the first layer of ink, which is all this area in the middle. It was a brownish gray ink, so very soft ink. I want it to be subtle. And then last night, while I was watching my favorite TV show with my grandson, BattleBots, I switched to a almost perfectly black ink and did a bunch of vertical stuff over here. I also did some drawing. I've done some drawing on the back. Now, the part that I really want to show you, though, is I've been working with this for a while, especially just this morning. I've been working with this upper right corner because I want to get some. I want to find out if this is going to work. I don't mean that literally, but I want to figure out how I am going to work it. Hi, Kolomani. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And this is where I'm at so far. Now let me show you what I've done. So now 7. I broke one of my pens. Welcome to the world of rapidograph pens. Just bent the tip on it. So now I'm down to 7 colors, and I'm having to change color inks in this. I've got orange, green, blue, red, brown, and black ink on this side of the vellum. Thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate it. Good morning to you. And on this side, now here's where I really get, here's where I really commenced to cheating. I actually broke out my Pantone Letra set and did a bunch of brown on the back like this. And I didn't do it neat. I just did what I call scribble hatching, like that. See, on the back to warm up the black. But wait, we are not done yet. Then I also got out, this is a Accurate Professional Waterproof Pen by, hang on just a second, let me adjust my other camera. I'm videotaping this with a higher quality camera so that I can create an edited video. So Accurate is the name of the brand here, Professional Waterproof Technical Pen. And I did like this to really get the darks going. I did a bunch of stuff like this. Now, one of the funny things about this particular job, that's very, very, very messy. I would call that scribble hatching too. That's not That's messy stuff, and that's all. It's legal, but it's just messier than what I usually do. Uh, um, One of the unique things about this project is I'm going to have all the cross hatching is going to go from this angle to this angle, but nothing this way. It's just good because I want it to be, I don't know, more subtle. My client doesn't want tic-tac-toe shapes. Perfectly fine. It's his prerogative to say that. It's my prerogative to refuse to take the job if I don't like his parameters. But of course, no problem. Just lets me do something, lets me experiment a little bit different. Let me show you a little bit what that will look like if, come on, here we go. There we go, waiting for my other camera to get in focus. Okay, and again, you guys, I'm sorry you can't, let me show it to you up close. You live people. Because I want to show you this girl's face. There we go. So that's, hang on, that's cross hatching where I don't have any lines going horizontal. It's all vertical and at angles. So it's actually a slightly softer look than the normal cross hatching. It has also lines going this way. But back to this corner. Let me show you what's going on up here in this corner. So I've done several layers. The last thing I showed you was I did 2 kinds of pens on the back. And hang on, it gets even worse. Now, this is a separate piece of Mylar, as you can see. And I wanted to see what would happen. And I drew, believe it or not, I drew on it with a Sharpie marker on the back here and then on the front here. So when I slide this under here, can you see? I'm not sure you're even able to see it. You can see the boundary down here as I move it up and down. So now this is getting very close to the final value that I want in these dark areas. Very close. It could actually get slightly darker. Let me, well, here, it's real easy. I don't know if you can, do you see the difference? This is black. Now we see this as almost black. Let me show you a trick that I often do when I am working in any medium whatsoever. You've seen this trick if you watch me often. That looks black to me, right? Until I put this beside it and I go, oh, I guess it's not black. Do you see how much further I have to go? Now, here, this stands up pretty well. The basic difference we have is a difference in shininess, a difference in sheen, but this is pretty black. So that's what I would like to create before I'm done. I want parts of this drawing to be just as black, but I still want them to have an interesting texture. So I don't want it black like paint. I want it black like cross hatching. And I will achieve that by doing as much cross hatching on that area and doing stuff like this. Now this is probably as black as I can get. Can we actually pick up? No, I can't see any difference. Anyway, so that's where I'm at right now. Here most recently I've got a brown, dark brown, so it's a mixture. Again, the ink, quote unquote, that I'm using in my pens is not ink at all. It's liquid acrylic Aeroflash color made by Holbein. I understand they're not making this anymore, but it looks to me like it's still available online through Dick Blick and Utrecht and eBay. So don't despair, or contact Holbein and say, if you're not making this anymore, what are you making that's the comparable? This is made for airbrushes. And if it's good enough for an airbrush, then it's certainly good enough for a technical pen. So what I've been doing lately is drawing some of the dramatic texture on the bark of this tree and coming in and Again, this is what I call scribble hatching, where I'm drawing in both directions of the stroke. The pen is making a mark up and down, so it's a lot quicker. And it's not as neat, and that's why I call it scribble. But it's neat enough for that. So I'll be doing several layers, as you can see. This is closer to finished. And this area up here, as I said, this has green, red, orange, blue, black, brown. I think that's it. All those colors. And I can look at this and say, well, I think that's a little bit too light still. So I'm going to bring this dark brown and go over it. And then I might think, well, I like it, but it's a little bit too warm. Okay. Now let's see if my blue pen is working. Yep. So if it's too warm, then I pick up a blue pen. And here, at least for the moment, I am doing traditional or classic cross hatching, except that I'm not going this way. I don't know if that makes sense to you. There will be probably no area in the illustration where my cross hatching is going like this. So it just creates a little bit of a softer cross hatching effect. Not quite as rigid, not quite as mechanical perhaps as traditional. Now, one of the goals that I have for this illustration, I explained this to my client. Of course, he just has learned to trust me. Pretty much. I said to him, I want the overall effect of the background. Here's my design. I want the background to appear. I'm reading your question, Nicholas. I change the direction as I go, Nicholas. I go from in one color or any colors. Yeah, any of my strokes go basically from here to here. None that way. But and it doesn't matter which color I'm using. So I've got a blue pen, so I just cooled down, made this area bluer. Oh, I was explaining to my client that I want the background to be essentially brown. The girl is going to be in more colors. She's going to be wearing light blue and dark blue, light blue t-shirt, dark blue blue jeans, and of course a flesh tone. She'll stand out as in color, and some of the foreground here will be brighter in color. But I want the background to be brown, but I don't want it to be dull, dumb brown. I want it to be interesting brown. So the way I'm achieving the brown is not just by using brown ink, but by using, as I'm doing now, all the colors of the rainbow, all the colors of the color wheel, in order to achieve an overall brown effect. And that pen's not working. Hey, tell you what, I'm going to switch. I think my purple is working well. Let's see. I haven't used it yet this morning, but let's see if it's working. Welcome to the wild and wonderful world of Rupograph pens. It is kind of dangerous, by the way, to shake a pen over your illustration because it could drip. Okay, almost there, almost there. I haven't used this yet this morning, so it takes a little bit of warming up. And when I go off camera, what I'm doing is tapping the butt of the pen on my desk. Okay, there we go. So now it's purple. So I want to create a brown effect in all the background by using multiple colors. So again, why? Because it looks good. Thank you, Nicholas. Someone asked me a little while ago how much I get paid. I'm not really supposed to tell you that. I will say I'm being paid low for the cover. I'm not being paid fair for what I would normally charge for the cover. The reason being it's a package deal, and I was paid fairly well for the 48 black and white illustrations that appear inside the book. Does that make sense? But if an ad agency called me up and said, how much would it cost to do a drawing in this style today, in this market, I'd probably say $2,500. So I don't know if that seems high to you or low to you. See, we're all in a different place. Doesn't really translate. But that's probably what I would charge. And I'm not being paid that for this because I was paid well for the 48 illustrations. So this is the client is getting a package deal, which I think is pretty standard business. So I'm going to pause there. I'll be on later today to show you more progress, but that's where I'm at, and I am quite happy with how that's looking so far. And this is only so far, except for this. This is still on my first layer. It'll be in the lighter areas of the illustration where I will get into more layers of vellum. Okay, I'll show you that when I get there. Thanks for watching.